Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily Faith Builder. Happy Wednesday morning. All week long, we're looking at this issue of what is a Christian citizen. And we've been looking each day, looking at a different aspect of that, what it is to be a Christian citizen. What does the Bible give us guidance on this? And overall, we've been looking at John chapter 17, when Jesus calls us to be in the world, but not of the world, and we're to be one with God and with the body of Christ, so that we can let the world know the good news. And so this morning, I just want to throw it out to us, this idea that Christian citizen, do not confuse political power and spiritual power. If these get confused, as they have throughout the ages, ugly things can happen, right? If we take up the sword and try to force or use political power to gain spiritual realities, that's dangerous work. We know that power corrupts, and someone says absolute power absolutely corrupts. But here's the thought I want us to focus on this morning, is especially in this political climate with election coming up and with, hot tempers and emotions and feelings on both sides, is that it's not worth winning the political discussion at the cost of losing a friendship or at the cost of losing someone's soul. What I mean by that, losing the bridge, the ability to be able to speak into somebody's life, into their heart, is that we should never put this idea of political power, the importance of politics, over the importance of the real core and foundation of liberation and liberty, which is the gospel itself. And I think this is what's so important. We know that all liberty flows ultimately from the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is the founding of our country. It's what made it so great. A couple of those principles, just as we look in the founding of our country, that are all biblically based. First and foremost is the biblical idea, the Christian idea, that we're all made in the image of God. It's within our Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. It's a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And where does this come from? That the best form of government is a democracy, and this flows from the gospel, the idea that each person is valued, each person has worth, and each person has a say and a special gifting, right, to be able to speak into that process. No other religion or system in the world values or makes sense of the value of the individual like Christianity does. The ultimate, obviously, is the Father sending the Son, right, to save us as individuals into His family. The second thing is the balance of powers. Since we know that power corrupts, and that the reality of the gospel and Christianity is obviously built upon the fall of mankind back to the garden, that we are sinners, and that every one of us has the capacity for evil. And this is built into our republic, the balance of powers, the legislative, judicial, and executive branches. There's a balance. All of that was put in there when the founders were arguing, because they knew that power corrupts, because man is sinful. And those things are all flow from the gospel, and all flow from the beautiful thing that Jesus has done for us, is to liberate us, right, ultimately from the power of sin and the power of death. And that wonderful promise is at the very foundation of this great nation that we live in. And so let's make sure that in this season that we learn to grow, and that we don't confuse political power and spiritual power, especially as we do our politics, especially if we're in public office, is that to rely on God and to make sure that He leads and guides us in those decisions. But for most of us, it's going to be in our personal conversations with people. Let's make sure that the thing that's most on our heart at that time is to value that person, to love that person, to respect that person's ideas, and to use maybe the political discussion to move into a discussion about their soul and their heart and why they believe what they believe. So I hope that's encouraged you this morning. God bless.